Hey guys, Tammy here, and today I want to talk to you guys about catching a giant trevally at the Great Barrier Reef and the gear I use to do it.
Yes, early morning banger.
Alright, let's get straight into it. You need a rod and reel strong enough to turn the heads of those GTs as soon as you hook them, or they will get you into the reef. Real choice. So you've got so many options out there these days, but one tip to start with is leave the 8 and the 6000s at home. I work in a tackle store and I speak with many people that lose good quality fish because they haven't equipped themselves with the right gear. So go straight for a 10 to a 14k reel. Reels I would choose are a BGMQ or a Certate MQ with 15 kilograms of drag power, so enough to get the job done, or with 25 kilos, and my first personal favorite is the Certate SW. Super light in hand and I can cast it all day long, no troubles. Or you have to have the best in the business and you want the workhorse for this type of fishing, go with the Saltiga. Braid I'm using, a Daiwa Saltiga 12 casting braid. I've got PE5 on my Certate 10k, which is roughly 88 pound, and on the Saltiga and on the Certate 14k, I've got PE6, which is roughly about 100 pound. So with your leader, you want to use 100 to 150 pound leader. I use a monofilament leader. It's easier to tie knots in, and also monofilament floats in the water column. So for me, I use floating stick baits or poppers. So it's gonna hold that lure high and not sink the nose down of that lure. Let's talk rods. So I've got a few Demon Bloods. I've got the Certate Hypers, love them, love the grip on them as well. But I've also got the Spartan, which is what I put my Saltiga on. A beautiful rod to use. Keep in mind, when choosing a rod, I would always spend more on my reel than I would on my rod. You just need a rod that's strong enough to pull the GTs away from that reef, out of that water column, to keep them in the healthiest condition possible. When I first moved to North Queensland, I was using a 4 to 6 because the PE8 was a little bit too much for me to cast all day. But since I've gained the strength to cast that PE8 all day, and it's been amazing for bringing those fish to the boat as quick as possible. Alrighty, so let's talk lures. So I've actually found that bigger GTs we've landed on your bigger profile lures. So here we have Daiwa Dive Star. So that is a 220mm sticky, comes pre-rigged. It's a great option. It's lasted ages. This one back here has a lot of battle scars, has caught many GTs. Even poppers, if you're fishing a deeper water, that's going to be able to pull those jeets up out of that deeper water. Or I know people that fish 160mm all the way up to 220mm. I find a 180 is probably my favorite.
Dive Star doing the job again. Now the bait is going nuts around us. There are GTs everywhere.
All right, you've got your gear and your lures sorted, but there are a few extras that I won't go without. So we all know how painful a rod between the legs can be, so don't go out without your fishing belt. So as soon as you hook that GT, put the rod butt in the fishing belt, and happy as Larry, you're good to go. Also, casting heavy lures on heavy gear all day long can wear through your fingertip quite quick, so don't go out without your casting gloves. These can really come in handy too when you are landing your GT. The scoots on the tail are very sharp and can cut right through you. So simply leave them on, grab your GT's tail and the leader at the same time and pull them into the boat, or you can take a towel. Another thing, big lures like this can really damage your rods if you leave them on while you're traveling. So split ring pliers, split rings enables you to put your lure on when you're there, and it enables you to quickly take it off when you're traveling. Or Daiwa have these awesome lure covers you can wrap around your lures while you're traveling. Alright, where am I casting for GTs? So download yourself like a Maps app, Google Maps or something like that. zoom in on the reefs you're going to be fishing and try and find isolated bommies. So if you can find isolated bommies, then chances are the bait fish are going to be there. So one thing to keep in mind is pressure is a big thing to note when chasing GTs. So if you've got a run out tide that's hitting from the southern side of the reef and rushing off the northern side of the reef, if you can find isolated bommies on that southern side of the reef, chances are that water is pushing bait fish up into that reef and they'll sort of sit around those bommies. Now, then you want to head out to the water, check those spots out to see if bait fish are actually holding there. Keep your eyes peeled, because the fusies will look like almost little circles or big circles of bubbling bait fish on top of the water, as well as sometimes you can actually hear it on a very calm day, so it'll almost sound like splashing. That's those fusies being worked up by predators. Once then you see that bait school, punch your cast, stay back as far as you can, punch your cast just past that bait school, sweep it on into the bait school and out of the bait school, and chances are within a few seconds you'll have a GT smashing your topwater lure, which is why we do this type of fishing, because the excitement and the adrenaline just hits you and you're on. If you've hit the southern side of the reef and you haven't found any bait, or you can't see any life on that side of the reef, go to the opposite side of the reef, so like the northern side of the reef where the water is actually running off the reef. Chances are you'll probably find GTs on the opposite side of the reef. So don't stay in one spot too long if you haven't found any action, because if GTs are there, you'll know about it. So we've actually found GTs on every reef. Certainly we've got our favorite reefs we like to hit because they hold more GTs, but we've fished many reefs from Townsville to Lucinda and we've found GTs on all of them. So, you know, one reef isn't fishing well, go to the next and just keep moving till you find those predators. One more thing from me, guys, is GT fishing with surface lures is very visual, but don't be tempted to pull those lures away from the fish. Now, what I mean by that is I've seen it time and time again where someone will cast a lure, they'll sweep it, they will see that explosion and they will rip that lure away from the GT. So what you want to do is you want to wait for that GT. You want to feel that weight on the rod of that GT hit before you actually give it 3 sharp jabs to set those hooks. If you don't, and if you strike at the sight of a GT, you will unfortunately pull the lure away from them. And then once you hook up, hold on tight, it's game on. You're gonna have to fight your hardest to keep that GT away from that reef. But till next time, guys, I really hope you enjoy it. Good luck catching that dream GT, and I will see you next time.